So if one of our kids came up to you and said, "Hey, Mom, would you co-sign for a loan?" What would you say?
Of course. Done. No?
Love of a mother. I want to explain in this episode why I would never co-sign for you. Or anyone for that matter.
Wow.
Stay tuned. I'm going to mention some different types of roulette, and you tell me what they are.
Okay, got it.
Roulette.
Russian?
No, I was supposed to do the different types.
Oh.
So what is roulette?
Like Russian roulette?
No. Rewind. Okay. Okay, so I'll just explain.
Let me explain. It's just taking a chance.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, now you just skipped way past it. Okay, so there's roulette, the gambling. No, we're not done yet. Okay. There's roulette, the gambling game.
Yeah.
With the black and red squares. Yeah. Okay. And then there's the Russian roulette, what seems to be your favorite. And then there's joint credit roulette. And
did you just make this up?
No. Well, yes, I did actually. Okay, so just not now. I've been saying it for years, so that's why it seems natural and normal to me. But
you just want it to like catch on.
Yeah, sure. I don't really care. Either way, I'm going to continue to say joint credit roulette. And the reason why is because all of these games have some risk to it. So can you guess what is risky about joint credit?
Well, what if one of your partners is an
How many partners do you have? Russian roulette it is.
It tends to spend a little bit more.
Okay.
And isn't able to pay for...
Why were you going like this?
I don't know. I just feel like you spend more money than I do.
All right. That's a whole nother episode. Okay, so someone that you're attached to credit-wise is spending more money than you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're not paying, like, the minimum payments.
Ah, the key. This is where it becomes risky. So, yes, they could take your credit or take that credit that you're attached with and do all sorts of crazy things with it.
Crazy things.
But where the problem really comes into play is that you're both 100% responsible for both the minimum payment and the balance outstanding. Yeah. So there is this meme I saw that I thought was funny.
If you're in a relationship, one of you better have good credit. That's why it's called significant other. Sign if I can't. Oh, credit humor.
I try. I didn't come up with this one.
No.
So I saw it and I thought, that's pretty good. I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, joint credit roulette is... What?
You have a credit game dictionary?
Of course I do. Another thing I've had for years that...
Are you so cool?
My journal, my dictionary. I'm all set. Anyways, did you want to read it?
Did you make this definition up too?
Maybe.
Joint credit roulette. Each applicant is 100% responsible for both the outstanding amount and to make the minimum monthly payments on time. It doesn't matter who spent the money. Joint credit roulette comes with risk. End of quotation.
What I liked most about you reading that, other than I can tell you're making fun of me, the part I liked was that you actually sounded out the syllables as it should be. That's pretty impressive. You're welcome. I may be a dork, but you read it like a pro.
My wannabe English major.
There you go.
Coming out.
So joint credit roulette has some risks, and we're going to go through those risks. But before we get too far into it, I just want to clarify what a joint account would be, because I am not referring to bank accounts. A lot of people have joint accounts with their spouse or partner or whatever, and
We do.
Right, yeah, and the reason why is because it doesn't affect either of our credit.
Right.
Now there is a caveat to that because some, what do you call it, overdrafts. Some banks will report it on the credit report, so be careful with that. But most overdrafts don't. So we have a joint checking and savings account, but we do not have any joint credit. Have you ever wondered why?
I think it's just because you overspend all the time.
We haven't had this conversation about why after how many, 15 years of marriage. It's not because I spend too much, just in case the viewers were, or at least I don't think so. But the reason why is because of the risk associated, and we'll go through those risks in a second here. But bank accounts, not a problem. Another thing that is kind of an exception to the rule is mortgage financing.
Okay.
And the reason, like our mortgage, we didn't do it joint, but because house prices are so much higher and it's just so difficult to get approved with just one person's income, joint credit on a mortgage, not really a big deal because, any guesses why?
No.
Why it would?
I kind of was tuning out, to be honest.
Good to know.
Okay.
So we'll bring it back. That's why I ask her questions. I can see the glazed. So the reason why I don't mind or it's less of a risk when it comes to mortgage financing is because you can't just pick up the asset or you can't run away with it. Or maybe I should say it's harder to run away with it.
Oh my goodness.
So with the other types of credit accounts that I'm referring to, credit cards, lines of credit, loans. Now I'm completely thrown off. Cell phones, I guess, would be another type of account. So loans, leases, those
Are you saying no to cell phones? Like to joint cell phone account?
Correct. That would be the worst thing to do.
Why?
Because cell phones, there's always problems with cell phones.
I know, but we were on like a family plan before?
No.
Yeah.
No, you are with the kids' family plan.
Well, but you and I were together, weren't we? Or have we always been separate?
No, it's always just been under one person's name.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess in that case, you could essentially have a family plan under one person's name, but I don't suggest that you have any credit attached to each other other than a mortgage. So any of those types of accounts, not a big fan of because of the risks. And we're going to go through a story time. So Lita had the misfortune of joint credit. So what's her boyfriend, or he bought a vacuum. She was just there, added her name, and then forgot about it, broke up. When I met Lita, she was engaged to a different person. Well, ex-boyfriend stopped making payments. It went to collections. And now the collection is on hers and his credit because they're both 100% responsible for that outstanding amount. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that one account was stopping her from being able to qualify for best rates, best terms on a mortgage with her fiance. So this is why, one of the reasons why I really detest joint credit. So here's a list of why I'm so intense about joint credit, or at least if you are going to have it, be aware of the risks.
Right.
Sick is the first one. And we have been lucky enough that no one's been seriously injured or sick in our family. But I can just imagine that paying on time or trying to manage finances is difficult enough when everything's going smoothly.
Yeah.
But throw a serious illness in there, gets even more difficult.
Right.
Did you need to yawn?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
Is that my yawning face?
Resting yawn face. So then we have death, which can obviously mess things up. In Canada, we're lucky enough that if a spouse or partner dies or there is no, the debt doesn't go to the other person. However, if it just comes out of the estate. However, if you're attached with the credit, then the other person is then 100% responsible Fraud, number one growing crime in Canada. We did an episode about that.
Yeah.
You can see it below, or the links and everything are below if you want to watch Jesse on fraud. So we have separation divorce. If we were to divorce, do you think we'd end on good terms or bad terms?
I think it just depends on where you live. I just think it depends on the situation. So if I was the one who was like, hey, peace out, we're done, I feel like it probably would be okay because you're just like, whatever, who cares? Bye. I don't get it. I'm not attached to anybody.
Dear diary.
But if it were to be something that you did or ended it and I didn't agree with it, then you better watch your credit.
She knows my soft spot. So the next one is insolvency. I don't think anyone gets started in life thinking that they're going to go into insolvency or planning on it. But when it does happen, if you have joint credit and the one applicant goes into an insolvency, bankruptcy, consumer proposal, whatever it is, then the other applicant then inherits 100% of that. So
then it would essentially be like, and then if that person couldn't pay for the debt, then it'd be two people going insolvent.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So that's another reason why I really hate joint credit is because I see it a lot. So we have joint credit, co-signer, guarantor. Although legally there's some differences in how it affects your credit, it's essentially the same. Yeah. So another problem that comes out with joint credit is people using it to try and rebuild, get their credit score higher. Someone with bad credit will try and attach their name to someone with good credit and hope that that supplement card or signing as a co-applicant card will then improve their score.
Right.
That doesn't work in Canada. So in the States, it's different. So if you read about piggybacking credit, that's different in the US than it is in Canada.
Okay.
So that's something that you want to just be aware of. So you're not trying to use or thinking you're rebuilding your credit and not. The other problem is applying for a loan together. Generally with the major banks, when you apply together, it shows up on both your credit reports as joint credit. But the problem is the smaller lenders, especially vehicle loans, stuff like that, they don't always put it on both applicants.
Oh, okay.
Only one. And so you think you have good credit, but you don't. So one of the most important things to do is to look on your credit report to really confirm whether it's showing up or if it's an individual or joint credit account. So the new version of Equifax Online, a little harder to find the individual and joint section. You have to click the more details a couple times and then find it under the account history. TransUnion, a little bit easier. You just have to click the arrow to have it expand and then it's under responsibility. Credit Karma, Barwell, other third-party websites or apps, they don't actually show it on there. It's hard to find, but it is something that you should do to just make sure if it's showing up on just your credit or someone else's. Time to review. What did you learn?
Joint credit is not great.
Awesome.
That's what I took away from
it.
Is if you can avoid joint credit, then do that.
Not to say that joint credit itself is bad by itself. It's a huge risk.
Yeah.
So if you want to play that game, that gamble, then by all means go for it. But just know that whatever you put your name on, you're 100% responsible. And just make sure you act accordingly and protect yourself. So, yeah.
Good. If you have more questions and want to learn more about credit,
check out all of our social media links in the show notes or more info. We have everything listed so you can get all your credit questions answered.